soon as I start, it'll go.
It's getting wound up. It's like a church, right?
I'd like to welcome everyone tonight. We have as our speaker tonight, Andy Ditty and Lisa Ditty. Andy was local all his life, right? And Lisa is from Texas. Wow. And they have two children, ages 7 and 9. And I can let them tell you about their children. And I think that's all I have to say. We'll let you take over now.
All right, well, thank you for inviting us here, and always nice to come home. I'm a Ditty. My dad is Jeff, Sharon. My grandparents were Charlie and Angie. I'm from Dolphin. I think a year I graduated, Craig got hired as a teacher there. Went to college, military, all around places, met my wife. We moved to North Carolina a couple of years, came back to PA, to the area for a year, taught at Dolphin Middle School about 8 years ago now, 7 years ago. And while we were here, my wife really noticed that the kids in the community didn't have a lot of stuff for young ones. They could go to McDonald's, the ball pit, and play. They could go to the park. Especially in the winter months, there's nothing going on. And we happened to go to Lewisburg one time, the Children's Museum, other place in the Saltons, and she had a real passion for the kids in this community. I taught her that year, and I could really see that the kids hadn't changed. The community had. There was more pitfalls, more vices, more things to get in trouble with, but there's still the need for kids. So with that, my wife and Bryn Manning, you know Andy Manning, his dad was Jim and Bonnie. They had 2 women who were not from here with 3 little kids who want to do better for this community. In fact, my wife and my son, Bryn, her son, are part of the logo. We didn't have a place to go right away. We're going to try using a furniture store. Last minute, that fell through. We were looking everywhere, the library, up at Dolphin High School, we kept here on Saturday. And we were very lucky that Andy from Magnolia said, I know the place. I know first who owns it. John Blank, an Amish gentleman, had just bought the building we're in now on 33 South Market Street from the Wetzel family. I'm sorry, Collier family, from Collier. Oh. So if I'm wrong, please tell me I'm wrong on the way here.
I took the notes you gave me and wrote them down.
And I remember my wife now showed up literally on like a Friday and started scrubbing the place and opened it up like 3 days later. But the building, from what I've learned, Jonas Schwab owned it. It was built around 1866, part of the Schwab foundry. It was used for a casting center in the back of it. Corky Taylor told me about 3 years ago that he remembered being a little boy at his mom's tailor shop, going down there and seeing them pour different castings. Corky had good memories, so I like to believe he was right on that. And then went on to other things. I remember the kid, the front was used by Nicola's Senator office, I think a little bit. They had the dance hall, the Foundry, is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I have.
Right, and it was all we got in there. It was ready to go for a dance hall. You still had the line dances, the chairs. It looked real nice in there for being down for a couple years. I remember some of my classmates were at Cuckers. They would tell me, hey, Saturday night, one of the dances at the Foundry. I never did, but I remember that stuff. So that's basically the history of what we got to inherit, and we hope we take good care of the building for you. The kids really love it there. My wife always chuckles with the Children's Museum. People ask, what is it? And I tell her, in this valley, we're very touchy, show me, feel like County Valley. I tell everybody, when I was a kid, We had Tobias. The old Tobias, before they renovated it. That we go there, we see the animals, feed the monkeys, candy, everything, all that fun stuff. And a lot's changed in Tobias. When I was in high school, they built Ned Smith Center. I was there this week. It's a beautiful place. But when I came back there with my kids, I didn't know what it was. I had never been there. Once with my kids there, Nicholas and Anna, we saw how neat it was, how the resources was for the community. We're sort of in the same spot now. Once you've seen the museum, once you've seen what all's inside behind that window, way back in the back, because it's a big building, you get to see what the kids can do there.
This is a video that we got
So
shot.
the commercial we got shot.
About 2 years ago. A lot has changed even now.
So, when you think about a museum, you might think it's just come around and look at stuff. And kids don't do so well with that, do they? They get bored quick. This is more interactive. A lot of it is imagination play. You're talking off, and I listen to Bonnie Kent and Jeff McGowan, the principal there, tell us that a lot of kids today don't know how to play. Their parents are on their cell phones all the time. They're not being watched. It broke my heart to hear that kids would take toys in kindergarten, and they would call toy soup. They just pick a toy up, throw it in a pile. Pick a toy up, throw it in a pile. Didn't know even a banana, and a pencil was. At the museum, a lot of this is just play. It's theme stuff. It's trains. It's a car wash. In the back, it's more STEM. It's more, let's create something. Let's build something with maybe magnets, maybe Legos, maybe it's a craft activity. But the idea is the STEAM aspect, to create and learn and think. The play is to be a kid and learn, interact with peers. I had a kid one time, it was during the Elizabethville shopping day downtown. And a grandmother, who's not from New York City of all places, came to see her grandson and brought him to the museum. This little boy was very introverted, very shy. Dave wouldn't even look at you, so shy. He played with my two kids for 3 hours. When he left there, he was talking, giggling, and personally asked my wife for a balloon. That grandmother just floated up the hill, so happy. That's what the museum's about. It's a place where we can have year-round interaction for the kids. I will tell people it's not about me, my wife, but it's about, hopefully, my kids and their kids, and all the kids in the valley for years to come, to learn and do stuff. We do a lot now.
That's what it looked like when we first opened. So the next couple of pictures and stuff, you're going to see the changes that have occurred in the past nearly 6 years to what we offer. This was
My wife and people like Mrs. Klaus, who helped out a lot there, they love having ideas. This was day one. This was right in the middle, a dinosaur,
hold on, Andrew, this quick. So we're trying to get it to play.
a dinosaur print, and a track for the cars, and an igloo. That was basically day one.
Scoot real quick. I'm trying to get it to play. It shows now again. So this is like what it looked like from basically the first and what's in there now, and similar spaces now. What's there now from what we
Now you got a submarine, big submarine, we all walk into. Here was empty space, now you have a racetrack. We got a car wash, Justin Ziegler repainted for us. That was our first event. They said we got sponsorship from the Lykens, a stage for kids to play in and dance on. last year, Erie Children's Museum was renovating. They were giving away their cave. They said, we got a little cave for you. You want it for free? Okay. Little was 30 foot by 10 foot by 10 foot. Thankfully, all styrofoam. Unfortunately, 2 U-Haul trucks later. But the kids love it. And we're going to have to right now do some stuff with the cave to add some cool aspects, some geology tied to the community here. But besides the museum playing, we have Christmas time events with Santa Claus, where they can come for a day, for about an hour, go to a house with Santa Claus there, get goodies. It's a nice family moment. We've been tied in with NASA. We were down in Florida, we ran to go to NASA, said, you go children's museum? I said, yes. And they helped us, gave us a tie to their museum system. We now have stuff with the James Webb Space Telescope. That's the Santa Claus there. The James Webb Space Telescope, when it was launched, we had a program for communities. They picked 500 groups nationwide, libraries, colleges, all kinds of stuff. 11 in Pennsylvania. We were one of 11. When stuff comes out like that, we get it and share with the kids. We were in Grassville times. We did an event at Pottsville with it. Here's grass. Right there. Professor Cobb from Penn State came and spoke about it. The planetarium in Pottsville was awesome. My wife does mobile events. We've been to schools all over the area, summer camps for the kids, to teach them STEM stuff, building stuff. From Ashland to Mifflintown, we've been. We do kindergarten activities. Last 3 years now, we've had kindergarten kids with their folks, before they meet their teachers, come with their classmates, like the first time, like a meet and greet, to the museum, where they get to learn and play together, and make maybe their first true friend for the school year. All sponsored by MI and the Meyer Foundation. We're trying to do a STEM club soon. We did last year at preschool for about 5 or 6 kids that really needed illustrative care. Mr. Cutler helped teach them for a year, for half back on. We changed the themes out. The kids don't really care, they love to play, but for parents and grandparents, they need to see a Christmas scene for a few months, or oceans, or space, or all kinds of stuff. We've had 2 golf tournaments the last 2 years, which have been greatly attended for fundraising. We are a donation and grant and volunteer-based thing. We just hired 1 or 2 local people that work part-time for us for the first time in our history. All the money we get goes back to the community, to the museum, and to the kids. Anything else I should add, Lisa? I'm going to hand it off to her for a few questions you have. It is her project. I just help move stuff and build stuff.
So does anybody have any questions?
What age is it here to?
We say 2 to 12. All ages are welcome. We have,
I've seen adults play there too.
yeah, I was like, we've had 13 and 14-year-olds in there, and they are really into the dramatic play areas because kids just don't play anymore. So, I mean, even some of our volunteers that we have come in that are high school, junior high, they go back and they play in the STEM stuff, they play with the kids, they're building stuff, they're playing Postmaster. So we say 2 to 12, but all ages are welcome. Yes.
How does this work with nursery schools?
So for nursery schools, usually they'll do a field day trip. So they'll have the museum, we do field day trips, and birthday parties are all private events. So we've had a couple of preschools that come in, like Upper Dolphin, their preschool group will come in, and they basically rent the museum out for a 2-hour block, and they'll have access to it just for their group. And then the same thing for the birthday parties, they're private rental, so they'll have the museum for 2 hours to explore for the birthday party.
So what hours are you actually open?
So we are open Tuesdays and Thursdays from noon to 6, and we're open Wednesdays and Saturdays from 10 to 3. Now we're open every week now. When we first opened back in October of 2018, we were literally open twice a month. And then February, March time of 2019, we actually took over a lease for the building. And so then we were open 8 times a month every other week. And then I think last summer, correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Sue, we started opening every week. We're open, like I said, that Tuesday and Thursday, and then that Wednesday and Saturday. And then when we do change the themes out, we do have to close. So we'll be closed, like right now we're open all the way until September 14th. Then we'll close for 2 weeks. We'll be resetting with oceans, so we'll be putting all kinds of ocean themed stuff up. All the STEM stuff in the back gets changed over to ocean themes. We put up a dark wall and all that stuff, so it takes a little time, so we'll close for 2 weeks and we'll reopen October 1st. And then we'll be open all the way till December 31st, and then we'll shut down again at the beginning of January for 2 weeks to reset. So about every 3 months we're closed for 2 weeks just to do the reset, because we're a small team, so, and some of the resets have gotten pretty large. So, but yeah, so it's a lot of fun now.
What are the Wednesday and Saturday hours?
Wednesdays and Saturdays are 10 to 3. Yep. And then usually during the school year, if it's a holiday on Monday, we'll open from 10 to 3 on those days too. So like if it's Martin Luther King Day or President's Day, or trying to think of some of the holidays, like the day after Thanksgiving weekend, we'll open for that. We'll open on that Monday. But we always say follow our Facebook page, because we usually keep that as the most updated information. The website, I'm in charge of that too, so I try to update it as much as I can, but sometimes if a last minute change, like I can't get somebody to work that shift, we might have to close, or if it's a snow day, we might have to close. So I always stay up to date with on our Facebook page.
10 to 3 is school hours, so who can
So 10 to 3 usually is our young group. So we have a lot of toddlers, under 3s, under 2s that come in. Either they're mom groups that come in and they come out and hang out together. A lot of times they'll come from the library and then come to us as a group. Grandparents that they have the young grandkids with them. And then it's usually when maybe they have an older sibling in school, so they come there, and then they'll go and pick up the sibling and then go home. But it's all day, so like if they come at 10 o'clock and they want to go to JoJo's or Pizza Delight or something for lunch, they can go eat lunch and then come back to the museum. So it's all day play for the $5.
Must the parents stay with them?
Yes, yes. We currently do not have drop-off opportunities right now, mainly for the insurance purposes. Any other questions? I thought he raised his hand, it's my son.
So that's $5 then?
Yeah, it's $5 a person, under 2 are free. So,
What's coming up here?
oh yeah, so we do have like the pumpkin decorating event, so we kind of correlated that with the Gratz Fair Queen program. We do a lot of stuff with the Gratz Fair Queen. They usually come to the museum and do stuff with us. So when I talked to Paula Davis years ago, I asked, what would you like us to help with? So we'll actually decorate the pumpkins. They can sign up that day to register their pumpkin for the Gratz Fair. And then the following week, they just take it to them. So we do that kind of in correlation with the Gratz Fair, but they obviously can come and just decorate a pumpkin. But for $5, they get a pumpkin, and if you can put it on a pumpkin, it's on the table from every decoration. And then we have our birthdays, so we're returning 6, so we have a big birthday party. We usually bring in some superheroes from the Heroes Alliance. Usually it's a random group, that sometimes we get Captain America, Wonder Woman, different superheroes that come in, and we just have a big party at the event. And then the Magical Christmas, those are what Andrew was talking about earlier. This will be our 4th year doing it, and basically the families come in, it's $25 for the family. They get a gingerbread house that's already built, and then we have a table that's probably almost twice this size, full of every kind of candy you could ever think of about putting on a gingerbread house. And they decorate the gingerbread house. We usually have some kind of family ornament they put together. I think this year, since we'll be doing oceans, we're going to do a C-class ornament. And then we do some kind of science experiment or science item. I think this year we're making big oceans in the bottle for the families. This year's Saturday, we won't have Santa Claus. It'll just be an event where they come and come and do the gingerbread house. But each kid leaves with a big stocking full of all kinds of goodies that they can take. And then, what else? Am I missing something? I think that's most. But they're a lot of fun. They've really become one of the things that we'll have families that came year one and they're still coming back every year. It's like a little tradition now that they come to the museum and do the gingerbread houses. And then the New Year's Eve party, we do that on December 31st. We usually do one earlier in the day, like from noon to 2, and then we usually do one in the evening for the parents that have to work that day, like 5 to 7. We have a big ball that we actually count down to midnight. We drop that. We have a balloon release, and we have like where they make their little hats and noisemakers and stuff back in the STEM area. So it's a lot of fun. And then the 3rd annual golf tournament. So if anybody likes to golf, we've got a Saturday next year for April 26th. So
You have to limit numbers for the New Year's and the Christmas party too.
the Christmas we do. I mean, we'll I think we've got 4 events this year, and we usually have 16 families per event. The New Year's Eve, I usually cut it off at 50. And then, like I said, we have the second one, so usually we have one that's really full, and then we have one that's not as full, just depending on the time frame.
How many volunteers do you have?
Dedicated volunteers, 1, 2, 3. that actually are dedicated, and they're more often than not probably about 10. So.
Our board helps a lot.
Yeah, our board helps, and then, like I said, we've had some volunteers that have dropped out, become grandparents, gone back to work, whatnot, so we're always looking for volunteers. So.
Who is your board?
Huh?
Who is your board? How many on your board?
6. Any other questions? Did I miss anything, Miss Sue?
Good job.
And then I've got some stuff back here, some of our STEM items, if you guys want to kind of see some of the stuff that we have. We just got this gentleman, so we do a lot of stuff with Bloomsburg Children's Museum, and so they have a big Makers Fair, usually at the end of April. And Discovery Space is a children's museum, or more of a science museum that's out of State College. And so they were there, and they had this 3D hermit crab. It was different colors when they got it, but I ordered it from them, and we're going to use it as outreach for our mobile. He actually comes out of his shell and comes back in. His name's Shelly. But one thing during COVID, we really reached out to every children's museum in Pennsylvania, because basically I figured, even though we're so tiny, everybody's doors were closed. You know, we were all closed. We couldn't do, X, Y, and Z. So I reached out, and so probably for the first year into COVID, we'd get together on Zoom once a month, and I had Bucks County Children's Museum, I had the Experience Children's Museum up in Erie, we had Bloomsburg, Lewisburg, Altoonah's Children's Museum, Hands-On House, and we would just get on chat and say, how are you going to reopen? Well, what are you guys doing, and how are you cleaning, and how are you doing this? And since then, we've just really become a really good friendship, and now we get on, every 3 months we get on and chat. We'll send emails back and forth, but it's really blossomed to a really neat friendship that we have, and that's how we kind of got the big cave from Aries, because they basically tossed it to that group saying, do you guys want this? So it's been really neat to be able to have a group to kind of go to that is in the same fight as we are. Huh?
All right, so you asked me earlier where I live. I'm from here, but I live in Waynesboro, 2 hours away. My wife does also. The irony was, the museum started, I got hired down to teach. I tell you that because we see the value for the children's community. This is sort of the little museum that could. So small, little town like Eville here, yet we reach thousands of families a year, probably, 1,000, right? And I've seen people drive from Scranton, Reading. One family was in New Jersey, had planned a summer trip, like Cobalt stuff, add us their itinerary for a day. If you can, stop by and see us. Stop by and see what's happening. There's nothing neater than hearing the kids in there playing and having fun. I see a few of you there for birthday parties and stuff. You see it now. This is something that probably shouldn't be here. It's a little ego, but it is. It's impacting kids, schools, all around. What we need, tell everybody this is help. We need volunteers. Give me 2 hours a month. Give me a little bit of time to help out here. You're going to pay it back to the community, to our kids. When COVID hit, we came up with packs with sponsorship from different businesses. We gave out packs, a big as a sack. Mom and Dad pulled up in their car, they walked out with a mask, put it in the trunk. They were home, they did steam and learn stuff at home. I don't know why the thing keeps going. It's awesome, it does. My goal is to take my grandkids there. So please help us. Come check us out. Tell people about us. This is for our kids. So thanks for coming to that, having us here. It's a treat to be here. And like I said, let's keep this thing going.
Those were, oops.